it's spring all right. Things are taking off. Jesus, it's dry. 2 weeks no rain. What do you think about that?
It's awesome.
Well, the place was so soaking that we couldn't drive in here with the van. Luckily, we now finally have our four-wheel drive van, which is in the background here. I think it's safe enough to drive in now. How are we doing? I'm Martin from Gardens for Life. In this video, I'm going to give you a quick tour of our garden. So it hasn't rained here in Ireland for 2 weeks. Usually we try to collect enough water to get through the summer beforehand, but we hadn't gotten to our gutter in the greenhouse yet. But sure enough, we're going to get some rain in the coming weeks, I'd say. So let's take a look at the place here. So we finally got our four-wheel drive van now, so that means we can actually drive in. It was soaking wet here just about 3 weeks ago. There was actually puddles everywhere and it was all muck. So we're happy enough that it has dried up a bit. See all this plastic here? I might actually make a separate video about that. If you want to watch it, just stay tuned. We'll post that up shortly after this one. Basically, I'm getting rid of it all because I wouldn't recommend using this type of plastic. We got it for free. It would have ended up in a skip anyway, in a builder's yard. But look at that, it does dissolve eventually and it's no good. So we got about 3 or 4 years out of it, but it looks like a lot of it, but unfortunately we have to discard it now. I would prefer using the cardboard method, to be honest, or using really high quality tarps instead. See, this is cardboard and it does work. It does smother the grass as well. That's only been there for a few days now, but it definitely makes an awful difference. So you can see the compost pile has a few cuttings healed into it and things are definitely taking off. Look at this comfrey, it's actually growing, and red Russian kale in between. It's a volunteer plant. We just leave them. And you can see here we have started planting a new little willow forest. This is actually an apple tree here that we got just from Kevin in Clough Jordan Eco Village. Thank you, Kevin, if you're watching. And say hello to Bruce for me. I'd like to visit you sometime. This compost here is actually about 6 months old now and it's just about ready. You can see here we're going to use it to make a new garden here, and we're also going to put together our new Vivor garden bed, which is a whole other video that's coming up shortly, and it is really good. It is absolutely huge when you think about it. Like, this is the 2 foot deep one, and I'm not sure if we're going to be able to fill it with compost the first time around, but we're going to make good use of it. We're going to move it actually over here where the wheelbarrow is there. And the doggins are always in the videos too. Levi. He didn't notice the camera until now. Now they're wrestling. We leave them to it. So you can see here the rhubarb really has grown in the last week and a half actually. It was kind of like that. And now a lot of these other plants here, they're not only sprouting but they're actually producing some stalks already. And I could actually even harvest some of those already. You can see the willows are growing, but I'm going to harvest them just to make sure we get some good cuttings again. It's your last chance to get willows on our website and to get in on the workshop that's happening on this Sunday. It's a willow shelter belt pruning workshop. Ideally you want to cut these back before they leaf out, but I'm going to still cut them back anyway, just to get better quality cuttings this year. But it's okay, we're going to the tree's effort is not going to be wasted because we'll have good mulching material. We can do chop and drop. We simply drop them on the ground and they'll slowly but surely feed the trees again through the soil life. Let's take a look over here. There is so much to see. I don't want to keep you for half an hour now. Yeah, I've planted a lot of American elder right here and some other varieties of willow, and I think we have about 6 or 7 varieties of willow and elder. But you can see here things are so dry, it's unbelievable. I haven't seen it this dry since last August, I think. Like, look at this. Look how dry that is. You see the valerian plants here are taken off now. And I've planted up this bit here finally with some elephant garlic, some Egyptian walking onions, josta berries, Jacob's ladder, which is a lovely flower. This is the white one now. We used to have the blue one. And some Japanese wineberries as well. So I stuck an awful lot of cuttings into the ground, like kale and a lot of berry bushes and trees as well. This is the comfrey patch that I planted last summer, just from cuttings, root cuttings, and they're doing very well. Look at this, so beautiful, isn't it? It's the red Russian kale, and you can eat those. We often walk around the garden and eat them. Very good for you. A few leaves a day will keep the doctor away. Jeff Lawton used to say, actually, I think there's a study where you can just eat 10 different leaves every day and you'll be very healthy. You can see here this garden, it might look fierce untidy to you, but I actually haven't done any work here yet except for planting and harvesting some plants as well. But I haven't done any tidying. As Martin Crawford said, tidiness costs energy. But look, all this material here, I'm just going to leave it on the ground because it's actually great. It protects the soil life and it also creates habitat for all of those little critters that are running around, the beetles and even the nematodes, the worms and all the other types of soil life here. You can imagine it makes it more fertile. And this is bronze fennel, and we like eating that. It smells so nice over here. Were you eating bronze fennel? Mm-hmm. That's why it smells like bronze fennel over here. This is feverfew. It's a great antidote to headache, actually, the leaves. But it also produces a lovely flower, smells nice, and it actually produces a lot of nectar for the insects as well. This is some Portuguese kale going to flower. We don't mind. A lot of them actually didn't grow after the winter. Look at that. The cold spell actually took out a lot of these plants. What are you eating here? It's like broccoli, is it? Very similar to broccoli. So like a lot of the kale varieties are just like sprouting broccoli, and they taste just like broccoli, do they?
Mm-hmm. Kind of.
Yeah. A little bit different now. This one is a little spicy, the Portuguese kale, but the other varieties are not. But you can see here, this is a newly established garden here because I had plastic covering all of this, and I took one sheet off so I can stick some cuttings, and I'm going to remove all of this plastic too. And again, I don't think the builder's plastic is a good investment because look at that, the UV does tear it up. Look at this, it tears quite easily anyway, and it does become brittle and then break up into little pieces over a period of about 3 or 4 years, so I wouldn't recommend it anymore. Definitely better off using a high quality, very thick tarp that's UV proof, and it would do a better job. I think it would last for much longer, maybe 15 or 20 years or even longer, but again, cardboard is probably better. Here's our non-variegated Daubenton kale. Isn't it beautiful? Even without the variegation. Here is actually one that's a separate plant. Look at that. That's what it used to look like I said in the last video. And thank you guys for the comments, I really appreciate that, about how a plant can revert to its original self after it being variegated. Well, look, I did a little experiment here with willows as well, sticking lots of little cuttings. Let's see what happens. It is fierce dry though, hopefully all these cuttings don't dry out. We have hybrid poplar here as well, and lots of blackcurrants. Here's the greenhouse. Do you want to see inside the greenhouse? Let's go and have a look. The water tank, I actually just filled it up with our pump outside. That's all the water we have now actually. We haven't collected any more rainwater. I'll just show you this real quick. And this is the gutter, and you can see there's no longer, the tape is no longer here to bridge the gap between the plastic and the gutter. So I need to renew that. Don't use silage tape. It did last for about 1.5 years, but then eventually the sun actually kept expanding it and contracting it, and it tore. So you need to use polydome repair tape, the good white stuff actually, and we're collecting it with these IBC tanks over here. So geez, you're finding a whole meal here. What are you eating now? A carrot? Where'd you get that?
Over there.
All right. That was some old carrot seeds that I had last year, and I just planted them along the path there, and some of them sprouted, so that's nice. So let's take a look. We have actually this light here. I highly recommend this light. This is great for the greenhouse, but a headlight is actually more suitable because you always have it with you. This is the compost we use, and you can see these little plants here, poppies and horseradish and comfrey, and some of our onions as well. And this is the woodruff. This is very successful. Look at that. I planted it in here, and look how tall it's grown already, because it's been in a crate with mushroom compost. Well broken down mushroom compost. I think that was 1 year old. And we have some cuttings here, kale, different varieties of kale, Chinese artichokes. This is Jacob's table here. Good man yourself. The roots, are your roots coming out, are they?
Yeah.
Shows it? Nice. Let's take a look at it. Push the bottom. Wow, look at that. Though that is a lot of roots. You could even put that on already. If anyone's looking for plants, Jacob has some plants for sale. He potted them up himself, and he's got, what have you? What is this?
Poppy.
Yeah, Oriental poppy. The variety is called Brilliant. It's a red one. What else have you? Will you stop eating while you're talking? What else have you got?
I forgot where these two are.
That is horseradish and comfrey.
Yeah.
So if anyone's looking for plants, take a look at our website. You'd be helping out this hungry fella here. He did have breakfast. He's just always scuffing stuff in the garden, so you can't blame him. Isn't it a good thing? Now these are some black willow cuttings, and I did do some Mount Azo, different things here. I actually have Paulownia grown from root cuttings, and this is hops that I've also got grown from root cuttings, and some other cuttings right here. So I think I'm going to move all these cuttings outside now, because they don't need to be in here, because they'll take about 4 to 6 weeks to root, and they can be outside. I don't need to use up my precious space in here, and use the space in here for seeds instead. So now let's take a look here. We do practice archery in here too sometimes, without the dogs obviously. We put the dogs out first. And these are the fig trees that are leafing out now. We have different varieties of figs in here. Brown turkey being the most vigorous, and I'm going to cut it back before it pokes through the greenhouse. And we're going to use the cuttings as well. Salt bush is looking a little sorry for itself. I think it dried out a bit too much, but I'm taking cuttings to grow more of them. Hopefully I can get them going again. I should be able to. And you can see here the Madeira is actually also leafing out slowly but surely. Nina, what are you doing? Are you all right? How are you? Are you too warm? You drink the water out the back. You have a new water bucket. You remember you have a water bucket, Levi. You're a good boy. You're a good camera dog, aren't you? Now, in here we also have some other young plants over there. What are they called? Mott mullein, silver mullein, Jacob's ladder again, cost Mary. A few bits and pieces in here, just growing over the winter. We'll take a look out this way. We'll have a look at the woodchip island here real quick. It's all very dry this time of year. See these spikes here? This is sea buckthorn and it is quite vicious. You don't want to walk into it, so this is near the path. I'm going to cut it back, but I'm also going to use the cuttings to grow some more trees. Sea buckthorn is tremendously useful, just as useful as this Japanese wineberry, which produces a really nice little sticky raspberry, and it's got a whole other flavour. Excuse me, Jacob. Oh, you have the birch bark. What can you do with the birch bark?
You can use it to light fires.
That's for bushcraft, yeah. That's where we're keeping the birch tree. It actually volunteered. And this, what's it called, cowslip, also volunteered here. We had a plant planted way over there a few years ago, and it actually spread its seeds around the place. See all this here? This is Jerusalem artichoke, and all these stalks actually mulch the ground and protect the soil from drying out, and in the winter time from the frost as well. And look at this garlic here. This was a little experiment I did way back when this woodchip island was planted up, and it was like 6 years ago now. Planted just a few garlic cloves. One clove of garlic produces all of these here. So it is a perennial crop, and you can you could eat the greens any time of year, or even harvest the bulb below the ground. And you can grow garlic without having to worry about it too much. Take a look at this here. Look how many cloves you'd get out of one plant. It's just amazing. I love garlic as a crop. Paulownia trees haven't leafed out yet. I think I will actually keep you for half an hour in this video. Look at this. This is the North American raspberry, salmonberry. And this is a purple lilac that I grew from a cutting about 5 years ago and has grown into a little tree now. We have a aronia berry leafing out here. Again, this is one of our favourite bushes here to snack on. It is the red Russian kale. So it's kind of here along the path, so we can just grab a leaf as we go. And it's definitely a healthy snack. We have all the raspberries here too, and we have flowering currant. And Jacob's ladder actually did eventually self-seed after a couple of years. There used to be only one plant, and now there is about 5 or 6 here. So that's nice. That's the kind of plants we're always looking for. Oh geez, look at that grass there. I'm going to get rid of that. I have to come through here and do a little bit of weeding as well. There isn't much weeding to be done, but it's better to keep on top of it, because each of the weeds will multiply into probably 3 or 4 by the middle of the summer. So it's better to take them early, take them out early. Jesus, it's windy out here and bright. There's meant to be a bit of rain coming now this afternoon, so we better make a video, I said, while it's lovely and dry. These carrots here kind of smothered out the new variety of elder that we've planted here, because they grew taller than the actual elder cuttings, but the elder will surpass them eventually. This is the white comfrey. This is great for the bees, very early bee food, and it is a white miniature. What a lovely plant it is. And we're almost sold out of that one actually. Look at this, like a wall of currants, black currants and red currants here. We always get a lot of fruit just in this little tiny area here. And look at the majestic curly willow. I'll show it to you from the other side first. I planted some more Josta berry cuttings along the edge of the garden bed here because I'd like to make a little bit of a kind of like a alley just to make a path here. And take a look at this. It's unbelievable how much wood this thing put on. Look at this. This is my hand here. Yeah. All this wood here it put on in 5 years. It's only been planted here as a little cutting. And it's a beautiful tree, and it's great for the kids to climb as well. And we really enjoy the curly willows. Look at this. This is the problem. These, as one of our volunteers pointed out, they call it a plastic worm. Unfortunately, this is what you get all over the garden if you use these tarps from the builder's yard and they start dissolving from the UV light. Levi, no, I don't want to be kissed. No, excuse me. He's always at it. Levi, come here. Levi, come here. Oh, it's all right. It's all right. You're all right. No, I don't want to be kissed. No, thanks. Oh no, the microphone cable. Give me back the microphone. All right, let me just put the microphone back on myself. We still have mic? Yeah, we still have it. So take a look at this lupin plant here. That's actually 4 years old now. And these raspberries are definitely leafing out now. And all this garden here is a little weedy now. I might come through here and pull up some of that grass. It's the one place that's been kind of a little bit of a battleground, but we have planted a lot of perennials along the way, like this lovage plant here, which is great for soups or even as a medicinal herb as well. And it is very reliable, I found. Just as reliable as the marshmallow or the valerian as well. Some of these herbaceous perennials are way more reliable than others. I found echinacea to not be reliable, unfortunately. As much as I'd like the old purple coneflower to be around more, not much I can do about it. If it doesn't want to grow here, maybe it's too wet, maybe it's too cold. This area here, I planted some garlic back 4 years ago, and look at this. It's elephant garlic, and look at all the cloves underneath. There's a bit of grass there too, but look at that. You can see them there. But they'll all grow into more, they'll all grow into more individual cloves of garlic. And you could use them as it is. They're in the leek family, but the leaves are a little bit spicy like garlic. You could use them like leek, but it'd be probably a little too spicy. They are mild compared to regular garlic though, trust me. This area here could do with a bit of attention. We did have this covered in tarp for about a year. So luckily these nettles here will be a lot easier to pull up. Sir, bash a lot. You love bashing the old Jerusalem artichokes. That's great, because you're making insect habitat. You see this? Let me just show you. When you break a Jerusalem artichoke stalk in half, you get this foam inside, and the insects can actually overwinter in it. So especially in early winter, it's... Excuse me 1 second now. Will you stop? No more wrestling now. It's too noisy in the background. The dogs are just like kids. Well, they are technically adults now because they're like 18 months old, I think. And these Jerusalem artichoke stalks are really useful as insect overwintering habitat. Kind of like insect hotels, but natural. So you don't have to actually do any maintenance for them. They just keep growing in these patches. Let me know if you have any questions below. And oh Jesus, there is the front garden too. I'll show you that now. Let's take a look. Again though, if you have any questions at all, let me know, or any comments about any of the things that you've seen in the video or any other video. Let me know. These are sea buckthorn. It's a male plant actually. This tree here came up as a root sucker from that tree over here. Imagine that. And it grew into its own tree now, and it's great. We needed more sea buckthorn, but unfortunately it is a male. How do you know the difference between male and female? Well, it has these little kind of knobbly things here, and the female does not. See where the leaf buds are. But that's okay. We'll make more female sea buckthorns in good time. This is oriental poppy. They're quite reliable. They can last for 5 or 6 years, I found. See this path here, it's getting a little bit tidier now. But in the summertime it does definitely turn into a jungle. A jungle and a half actually. Look at all this grass has grown over the top of the wood chips. I should have put down more wood chips here a couple of years ago when I had a chance. But it's alright, it's not too bad. It's definitely productive because we have a lot of berry bushes in here and apple trees. These are apple trees from Irish Seed Savers. We have 10 of those planted along the front, and more elephant garlic. You can see it there in among the flowering currants. And there's a rhubarb plant. Look at that, it's another thing of beauty. This little guild here was actually always very productive. There's a couple of gooseberries here, garlic, raspberries, flowering currant, white lilac, curly willow, and buddleia as well. So, and a couple of dogs. I planted a little forest here. You can see the cuttings stuck. A bit of elder, a bit of willow. This is a special plant here. This is the Sichuan pepper, or I think it's called Chinese pepper, is it? And I found the tree. I heard about it first through Martin Crawford. It is fierce thorny, and it has produced a few seeds last year. So we're going to grow more of those. And if anyone here would like us to grow Sichuan pepper, please let me know in the comments, because we'll grow extra and we'll try and make those available in late summer, let's say, or maybe towards the end of the year. These are buffalo currant. Which you can see here, it is very productive. This is ground elder here. Very nice edible plant actually. It used to be introduced by the Romans to the British Isles as a salad crop way back when. I presume it was about well over 1,000 years ago. And you can see the horseradish is growing as well. Take a look at these elder trees, for those of you who haven't seen them. Look at them. There's one here and one here. They were grown from a cutting about 4 years ago. And that's the size of them now. They were planted here only 3 years ago. And look at the size of them now. I still can't believe how quick they're grown. Look at them. There's Levi the dog for scale. And he is not a small dog. That's a good boy. You're a good camera dog, aren't you? Oh, pheasant. This is a walnut tree. We have a couple of black walnuts and some other ones too. And they're coming along. They'll just take another 5 years to grow bigger, and maybe they'll produce some nuts for us then. We have a hedge here, but unfortunately all these blackberries, these brambles, are taken over. And you can see this area here is a fairly new willow shelter belt. This is the extension of the shelter belt. And you can see them here. And you can see This is what the willows look like when you don't prune them. They produce these catkins, which are great for the insects, a great food source for them, early nectar. And that's one reason why we grow a lot of willows and we promote the willows all the time, because we want the insects around the country to come back, because there isn't that many insects around anymore. Nothing like 20 years ago. There used to be way more flies and other insects around. So we need to be planting food sources for them. And this is certainly one of them. Look at that. How nice is that? As a matter of fact, I think I'll make that the thumbnail. And here we are, back in the same spot. Those of you still here, thanks so much for watching. I really appreciate your time. And if you have any ideas what we could do here in this garden, please let me know in the comments below. You see, this is the new nodig garden from last year, and I'm planting an awful lot of tree cuttings and berry bush cuttings and perennial, herbaceous perennials, so that it's all covered basically in greenery throughout the growing season, and that's the best and most productive way to manage it, and also the lowest maintenance possible as well. And if you'd like to come to the workshop on Sunday, please sign up for it on the website, and you can get your tickets there as well. It's a willow pruning workshop, and you'll also get some willows when you go home as well. Thanks for watching again, and one last thing, if you'd like to buy some cuttings or berry bushes or plants, you can get those on our website. And if you'd like to support what we do here, you can become a member either on YouTube or on our website as well. And one last thing, since that you're still watching, you must be interested in what we do here. We're going to be looking for a part-time volunteer to help us with our nursery and all of our gardens here in Roscommon. One day of the week. It could be any day of the week really, and we will have a sign-up form for that on the website shortly. Just to let you know, maybe you have some ideas. We teach you how to start plants, how to do no-dig gardening, how to maintain it all, and even how to run a business as well, and how to start a business. So you'd get a wealth of knowledge. It is going to be well worth it for you in exchange for a little bit of help. A more detailed video of that to come. But anyway, for now, see you later. Bye bye.
Bye bye.
Levi, you say bye bye too. No kisses now. Here, Levi. Come here.